That means it's time for some football, and it's the Eagan Wildcats season opener here on ETV. My name is Mike Cook. Nathan Cron joining us in the booth this year. Nathan, as we look at the Wildcats, gathered around Coach Ben Hansen down below. Cats coming off a 1-8 season, but they've got some big hopes for this year.
They do have some big hopes for this year, Mike, and thanks. First of all, thank you for inviting me up into the booth. It's one of the best seats in the house, and hopefully this year we're going to see a Wildcat team that shows some real improvement and shows how hard they've worked over this summer to really give themselves an opportunity to compete both in the conference and, of course, with this team, this Minnetonka Skippers team coming off, obviously, one of the greatest seasons in their history.
I was going to say, not an easy start for the home school here, as Minnetonka state runners-up last year, Class 6A. I've seen a couple of polls this year where one has them ranked number 1 in the state and one has them at number 2. So it'll be a good test here. Will be the Skippers under head coach Dave Nelson, who is in his 17th year at Minnetonka after spending 18 up in Blaine. He's telling me before the game it's his 41st year as a high school football coach.
Well, Coach Nelson obviously has a tremendous amount of experience. I'm sure he's got his Skippers prepped and ready to play. Let's see how Coach Hansen does and what he's got in his bag of tricks to give these Eagan Wildcats some early sparks and maybe hit these guys, these Skippers in the mouth and see what they can do.
Yeah, Coach Ben Hansen, his 3rd year as the head man here in Wildcat country. And back deep for the Wildcats will be Isaac Hofstad, number 10. And number 6 is on the far side. That's Marcus McGinley. Both of them are seniors for this Eagan Wildcat squad. And we are now underway in the 2018 season. From his 9 will be Hofstad. He'll get across the 15-20, and he'll take it out to about the 22-yard line where the Wildcats will start things off here on a special Thursday night edition of Friday Night Lights.
We may have some weather moving in a little bit later, Mike. Hopefully that weather holds off. But right now it is a beautiful night here in Eagan, Minnesota. And obviously both teams ready to go, ready to show what they've learned and demonstrate to everybody how what they've been doing in those scrimmages will translate onto the football field on as you say, a Thursday night, not a Friday night.
Yeah, you mentioned the weather. Game time temperature in the mid-70s. Breeze kind of hit or miss. It'll be going right to left across your screen. So we'll see if that comes into a factor at all this evening. For the Wildcats, junior Ethan Gugino will be the signal caller this year, as we have a apparent equipment issue before we even get started. And it's like some confusion along the Eagan side. They want to make sure they have the right football in. Hey, it's week 1. Yeah, got to get all that taken care of. So Gugino starting at quarterback for the Eagan Wildcats. Carter Lyons, number 9, he'll be the man to keep an eye on that offense this year. He, the workhorse last year in that backfield for the Eagan Wildcats. We'll also see a lot of Cole Gibson. He wears number 1. Marcus McGinley is 6, and Dylan McGuire is 5. And a much different look to the Wildcat offense this year. Shotgun might be something you don't see very, very much of at all. And Gugino's going to hand off on first down. He's going to change of direction. I'll think he'll cross the 30 out near the 32-yard line. Should it be a first down Cats?
Like, it certainly did look like they were bottled up on the right side, but then he cut it back to the left. What was great about that is, number 1, the offensive line stayed on their blocks enough to give him that cutback opportunity, and that he made a decision quickly. He didn't dilly-dally in the backfield. He made a quick move and turned it into something, and also buttoned up on contact.
Yeah, it's going to be a 12-yard run there by Carter Lyons. He trotted off the field there. It looked like his helmet might have come undone a little bit. So one play, one first down for the Wildcats here on ETV, the season opener. This will be number 6 for the Wildcats. He's going left side. He'll get about 5. That's Marcus McGinley, the senior tailback. And that's going to get the ball out near the 40-yard line. And let's see where the spot is. They might say just a hair over the 40. We'll give him 6 on that carry. Going to set up 2nd and 4 for the Wildcats. Actually, almost 7. They did spot it on the 41 officially. Good opening 2 plays here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they definitely had some good blocking on the side. The seal was down on the left side, and he was able to get to the outside. And these are some good athletes, Mike.
Taylor Elder, your Wildcat center, to Gugino. This is going to be Lyons. He plows forward, gets out near the 47-yard line. Pickup of 6 for the Wildcats, and the sticks are going to move once again.
Oh, Mike, this is the perfect start for the Wildcats. I mean, if you had to script it up, and I'm sure Coach Hansen is, as he's thinking about it at night, as he's putting together a script, is saying, hey, what can we do to these guys to move the football? This is exactly how you'd want to start the game if you're Eagan. Two first downs, moving the sticks, showing opportunities to be dangerous in the offensive side of the game.
And I know last year with the Eagan offense, I'm not sure there might have been 3 plays in a row where they ran the ball off last year, but now it's a much more run-oriented offense. Gugino takes the snap. Fumble in the backfield, and Gugino, the ball is loose, couldn't quite grab it. Tonka's got it. It's going to be a touchdown, Minnetonka. Going to the house is number 44, the Minnetonka Skippers. That would be Jack Rapini.
Well, that's just really bad luck for the Eagan Wildcats. It's either a breakdown in timing or it's a breakdown in concentration. It's unfortunate, but the fumble comes out. It looked like an exchange problem between the running back and the quarterback, and unfortunately that ball just bounced a couple of times. If it had fallen the right way, Gugino would have bitten on top of it, but unfortunately it kicks to the Skippers, and suddenly Eagan's now looking at a 6-0 deficit.
Boy, and you were right before that play, you were saying exactly what Eagan wanted, and then just like that. Let's see, so Minnetonka's got to get the kicking ball in. So just like that, 6-0 for the Skippers. We're all of 90 seconds into this one. I think they were going to say about 35 yards on that fumble return. I've not heard the official announcement on yardage, but we'll say about 35. Bottom line is it's 6 points for the Skippers. Grant Altman for the PAT for Minnetonka. 20-yard kick in high school. Ball is down, ball is up, Altman, and that one is good. So 90 seconds gone by, and it's 7-0 Minnetonka. And it got very quiet here on the Eagan side of the stands.
Yeah, plays like that, Mike, are going to take the wind out of this crowd. That said, just like football players, you want a crowd to have a short memory too. Before that, the Eagan Wildcats had scored, had notched 2 first downs, had moved the ball, and were looking like they could compete with these guys. We'll see what kinds of adjustments the Skippers make defensively to stop what was obviously a run-heavy attack. But there have been some changes to the Eagan offense into this year, and we'll talk about more of those, and we'll see more of those as the season rolls on. But this is going to look a little bit different than a full spread offense that's throwing the ball 3 out of 4 times. It's going to look different, and I know this offense is geared towards the personnel they have and gives the coaches to think that this offense gives them the best opportunity to be successful, and that's of course what you want for all of your players.
Interesting, looking at the stats coming into the season, Eagan does not have a quarterback on the roster that has completed a varsity pass. In terms of rushing, other than Carter Lyons, I think there was one person that had like 3 carries last year, and I assume that was probably in one of those blowout games that unfortunately Eagan had one too many of last season. And we'll kick it off once again with Altman. This will be Hofstad at about his 1 this time. That right foot, he's out across the 20. Gets a little move, cuts to the outside. Cats will start their second drive at about the 21-yard line. In on the stop for Minnetonka, Grant Brunsvold, the senior free safety, number 45. 10:24 will be the time remaining here in the opening quarter on ETV. And a special shout out to those of you watching us tonight on the World Wide Web. We appreciate you tuning in here to watch Eagan High School football here on ETV. And I know you said we have at least one visitor from a warm southern climate.
That's right. Somebody's grandma's listening from Bradenton, Florida right now. So if you're out there, Grandma, thanks for watching and listening.
And pass the word. I'm guessing that, hey, it's Florida, a lot of retirees. There's probably some Eagan fans down there.
That's right.
So Gugino under center. 2 men in the backfield. Pitch near side. Coming through out. That's going to be Lyons. He'll get out near the 25-yard line. Tackled by about 6 Minnetonka Skippers on that one. So we'll give him 4 Lions. That's 3 carries, 22 yards thus far for number 9, the Eagan senior tailback.
Yeah, the offensive line did a good job that time of sealing the outside, the defensive end out, and then opening up a hole, and he made a good cut, a nice decisive cut into the hole. And, the tackle made, as you mentioned, by about 3 or 4 different Skippers, but that's really a credit to their flow to the ball as opposed to what the line did. Hey, 4 yards on every play, we'll take it.
Absolutely. We'll see if they can do it this time. They're going to lose that yardage right there. McGinley trying to get a second, third, fourth effort, but that's going to set up 3rd and about 9 for the Wildcats. That's going to be a loss of 3, as there were white shirts everywhere once again. I'll tell you, the guys to keep an eye on in this Tonka defense, up front especially, are number 9, Vincent Sullivan. He's a 5'10", 250-pound. He plays the nose guard on the program. And number 32, just off to the left of your screen, most likely, there he is at the bottom. Hunter Wheeling, 6'1", 202 linebacker for the Skippers. 2 of their top tacklers from last year, back for Dave Nelson's squad. 3rd and 7 officially, they're going to say for the Wildcats. It's going to be a loss of just 1. They gave them some momentum there. You would think passing situation for the first time for Gugino and the Cats. Gugino, look out, Wheeling was all over him, and he had nowhere to go there. Wheeling came untouched, and the Cats are going to be forced to punt this one away.
Eagan that time fortunate that something bad didn't happen. I mean, it's an incomplete pass, but they get a chance to punt it away and maybe flip the field for field position standpoint. When a rusher comes free like that, it's always going to be dangerous for the quarterback, and we might be lucky that we got out of that without a penalty, as I think that ball may have hit an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I think so.
It might have hit the defensive lineman. Maybe the referees weren't 100% sure, but lucky there.
So the kid with probably the best football name on the Eagan squad, Cole Sackmaster, the punter for the Wildcats. High kick out near midfield, and that was actually fielded by Minnetonka, but quickly covered on the fumble. That was Raheem Brown to cover. I believe that was number 8, J.J. Scheckman, back deep for the Skippers. Maybe should have fair caught that one, but good coverage downfield by the Eagan Wildcats. Let's see who the first man is there wearing gray. It's number 84, Campbell for the Wildcat. Or Derek Hansen, check that. Number 84, he'll be one of the better receivers this year for the Wildcat squad. So Minnetonka up 7-0. First time here on offense. They are going to start at midfield. 8:44 to go here, opening quarter on ETV. Severson, the all-do-everything quarterback for the Minnetonka Skippers. He'll call the signals, and he's going to hand it off to Hopkins on first down. Hopkins, he'll get a couple yards, maybe. Or actually, it's like about 1. Good job by the Eagan defense.
Yeah, the right guard there was pulling across the center, and the defensive tackle there for the Wildcats followed that guard in, stayed in his hip pocket, and did a great job of slowing that play up. And if you can slow that play up, you're going to be able to stuff it as long as everybody else is running to the ball. That was an excellent play by the defensive line for the Eagan Wildcats.
I saw Ryan Meekin, big number 44. He's right in the middle of it all there for the Wildcats. Vinny LeBert, he's going to be in there as well, number 45. He's been a special teams ace the last couple of years, getting the start on defense this year. Severson to throw it on second down. He's got a man far side. That's, I believe, that's Scheckman out across the 40. That should be a first down Minnetonka, and actually it's going to be number 11 that time for the Skippers. Jackson Owens, one of their top receivers that is coming back. Watched out there by the Wildcats. Number 29, Charles O'Toole. 12 yards, first down, Skippers. Just under 4 minutes gone by, and this one, Severson's going to hand it off. Big hole there for Hopkins. And he saved on the tackle down there, but I believe that was number 2 there for the Wildcats, Ben Kazemzak. That's one of those names we're going to have to learn how to spell. Kazemzak. Kozemzak. We might just want to call him Ben for a good chunk of the year.
We can call him, if he's going to keep making touchdown-saving tackles, I think we'll call him wherever he wants us to call him.
Yeah, there he is right there, number 2. 10-yard run, though, first down, Tonka. Severson, shotgun handoff. No, this is going to be Hopkins left side. He steps to the outside and down to the 26-yard line. 23 is the ball carrier. That is indeed Tamar Hopkins, the 6', 195 senior.
And it was Kazemzak again on the outside, Mike, holding his ground and not giving up outside contain that turned that play back inside. Yeah, it's a gain of 3 yards, and yeah, you want to stop him for a loss if you can, but he did his job as a defensive back outside to keep that inside.
Severson shotgun once again here on 2nd and 7 for the Skippers. See with the Hopkins instead. No, they're going to fake that and throw it far side up to number 5. That's Keaton Worley, the tight end. And it's going to be close to a Tonka first down. And actually, I take that back. They're going to be a couple of yards shy. Give him about 5 on that one. Just a little roll out there, and his tight end was wide open coming across. 3rd and 3 for Minnetonka. A lot of options here for the Skippers. Hopkins is not a bad one, and he's going to be just short. Good tackle by a number of Wildcats. Vinny LeBert in there to finish him off. 45. Kieran Gamboni, I believe, was in there as well for the Wildcats.
It was great pursuit by the Eagan Wildcat defense to run that down. But, you know, at some point, you see those guards pulling, moving across the formation. That gives you a pretty good idea of where that play's going. And so hopefully they're able to key on those guards and follow them to the point of attack. And they certainly did that time. And here's where they're going for it.
4th and 2 as we reach the halfway point of this opening quarter on ETV. Searson, looks like he's going left. He goes left. And that ball is going to be caught for a first down. Tonka. Brendan Voorhees, number 3 for Minnetonka. That's going to move the ball down inside the Wildcat 10, down to about the 8. Pickup of, I believe, was that 13 on that one. Just a little in route, and he was right there.
Yeah, he was. It looked like he had gotten some separation from the defensive back. I wonder if Eagan maybe was thinking that Tonka would run that ball one more time on 4th and short, and that maybe Tonka surprised him a little bit.
10th play of the drive for Minnetonka right here. Inside the Wildcat 10. Severson under center. Give it to Hopkins. He loses the football. Cats think they have it. There's a pile. What do the officials say? Big pile coming through. And looks like Minnetonka hung on. I think was it Hopkins or big number 77 in there? Finch Garrett, Samaje. Might have fallen on the ball. You look at 77 on the left of your squad. You saw him briefly. Let's take a look. Yeah, that was just a bad handoff. And yeah, it is indeed. It's Hopkins. Will Herman had a great opportunity for the Cats there, number 47. As it is, it's going to be a 4-yard loss for Minnetonka. He gets 2nd and goal from the 13. Here's Hopkins once again. He runs right into the middle, runs into a host of Wildcats. It's down to maybe the 10-yard line. Coming off the bottom of the pile, Vinny LeBert, number 45, once again for the Eagan Wildcats.
Well, Eagan's going to have to come up with something here on 3rd down. They're going to have to do something to create a situation where Tonka feels like they have to kick a field goal as opposed to be going for it again. So, I'd look for Eagan here to dial up something a little bit different, maybe change up the front a little bit or bring an extra player into the box or something like that, just to give them a different look, and we'll see what Tonka can do with it.
Severson, you would think passing situation for the Skippers, and indeed as he's going to come a little crossing route. Can you get down to the corner? Touchdown Tonka, number 11, Jackson Owens on number 11 from 11 for 7.
Alliteration aside, I think it's the defensive backfield right now for Eagan that seems to be struggling a little bit. Maybe not quite picking up their assignments. Maybe a little bit still trying to figure out exactly where they're supposed to be. But what we've seen, Mike, is a couple of passes where, especially on crossing routes or, as you say, that little in route on 4th down, where there's some space and separation between the defensive back and the receiver, and that's not something that I'm sure that Coach Hansen's going to want to see. And the defensive coaches are going to say, "Hey, we got to tighten that up."
So I misspoke a moment ago. That was the 10th play of the drive right there, was the touchdown. So 10 plays, 50 yards. Kick is up. It is just sneaks it through. 4:13 to go opening quarter, and it's now 14-0 Minnetonka here on ETV. Where the Cats, they had that opening drive, had 3 really good plays, picked up 25 yards. Then that fumbled it away. Tonka gets a fumble 6, he could call it. And then Eagan goes 3 and out, and then Tonka 10 plays and just wears down the Wildcats.
Well, this Minnetonka football team, Mike, has some tremendous talent, and not only do they have some tremendous skill and skill positions, but they've got some big guys, and they can lean on you.
Should mention the pit is well in attendance here this evening. We're in Wildcat country, and it's a beach out tonight. Not a lot to cheer about right now for the pit, but boy, they are out in numbers, which is pretty impressive considering school hasn't even started yet. A lot of room for other Eagan faithful to come out and check us out here in Wildcat country. Of course, they've got the sort of Friday Night Lights this year again. We've got some food vendors out here at the stadium this year. Buffalo Wild Wings, Chick-fil-A, Red Savoy, they're all here tonight. Glad to have them here in Wildcat country supporting Eagan football. And to kick off once again will be Altman for the Minnetonka Skippers. 14-0 for the Skippers. At deep Hofstad, we'll see if he gets it once again for the Cats. And well, this one, Hofstad does retreat, barely stays in bounds at the 4. I thought he might have stepped out with that right foot. And he gets it out near the 18-yard line. But again, a number of Minnetonka Skippers. Raheem Brown, first man in. 25. How about that? Number 32, we mentioned him earlier, Hunter Wheeling, their big defensive end / linebacker, out there on special teams.
Well, it's certainly a situation where Coach Nelson knows what it takes to be a successful football team, and if that means you're going to put your best defensive players on special teams for coverage, then that's what he's going to do. It's not only a good coaching move potentially, but it also shows a lot of respect for your opponent that you're not going to take any chances when you're playing an Eagan Wildcat football team. You're not going to, you're going to do what you can to make sure that you're successful.
And I also think that also sends a nice message to the underclassmen saying, hey, you know what? Just because you're a team, first team, you can still be out there.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that. And minimal gain here on first down for the Wildcats. Try to run right into the heart of that Minnetonka defense. Getting them off the bottom of the pile for the Wildcats, I believe, was Carter Lyons. It is indeed Lyons. So we'll give him 3 on that play. 3-yard run there for Carter. You just see the score, 14-0 here on ETV. Big year for ETV with Wildcat football, by the way, and we'll talk about that. We're going to be doing the majority of the games, it sounds like, so be sure to tune in. We'll talk more about that, though, in a while. Gugino under center. Sends a man in motion. Long count. McGinley this time. He'll get up near the 25, stays on his feet, maybe stumbles ahead to the 26. Marcus McGinley. That was Max Meekin, by the way, that went in motion, number 12. I wanted to say Cam LaChance, but that was last year's squad, number 12. Max, pretty good hockey player, too, for the Wildcats. So it's going to be 3rd and short coming for the Wildcats. Looks like about 2 yards. We're going to give him 5 on that last play. As you look at Gugino, the junior signal caller for the Wildcats. Another hockey player.
Yep, another hockey player.
A lot of success playing JV last year, and I would assume he'll move up to the varsity this year for Mike Taylor and the Wildcats. Big play here for the Wildcats. Really got to get some momentum going.
Yep.
Gugino straight ahead, and it looks like they're going to be short. That was, look at all those white shirts. Number 40 leading the way for the Skippers was Jack Rapini. He got the touchdown early on. And it's going to be close. I think they're going to be about half a yard short, though.
They are going to be short, Mike. I think you're right. It's going to be by about half a yard. But I think there might be some benefit to be gained here by going for this and pushing the envelope a little bit. If you're Eagan,
I agree with you.
Let's keep that momentum going. I mean, let's load up and see if we can get a half a yard right up, right in one of the 2A gaps on either side of the center. Let's see what we can do.
Or is this one where you're just trying to draw the Skippers off?
Well, it depends on how disciplined my offensive unit is. We'll have to see what they try.
Tonga's got 4 guys down. They are going to run it. And we've got flags. This will be our first one of the game. Timeout taken by the Skippers.
The Skippers had 12 men on the field, Mike, and then they had a defensive linebacker running off the field as fast as possible. And they needed to take that timeout so they could prevent a 5-yard penalty.
Should mention the guys up front for the Wildcats this year, because those guys up front, they never get enough credit. But you see 75 right there. Cody Smith, he's the big offensive lineman. Not sure on his size. He's got to be, 280, 275, I think I saw somewhere. But you've also got Tyler Haas. He's number 72. Carson Cooper is 74 up there. 69, Taylor Elder is your center. And Brent Heinlein, 55, getting the start tonight at guard for the Wildcats. Tyler Haas, who's 72. Coach Hansen told me the other day his best way to describe him is a pit bull.
Well, you're going to have to be a pit bull to play offensive line at this level against the schools that Eagan plays against. These guys they're hard-nosed, they're physical. There aren't going to be any shrinking violets if you're not willing to if you don't have good contact orientation and aren't willing to mix it up. Offensive line's not the place you need to be.
And Carson Cooper, the left tackle, he's a junior this year. Took 2 years off from football before coming back this season. Not bad, and ends up as your starting left tackle. A lot of talent there. Gugino on 4th and short. They are going to go for it, handoff. And I don't know, is there going to be enough on the second effort? I think they got it, and they did. Oh, he was stopped early. I believe that's McGinley off the bottom of the pile. Indeed it is. Marcus McGinley gets the first down. Man, you can hear some cheering here on the home side. The pit firing up a little bit. We're down to 1:38 to go. Opening quarter. Sticks did move ever so briefly, so needed about half a yard and got about 3/4 of one, it looks like.
Well, Mike, they say it's a game of inches. In that case, it was a game of about 6 inches, and well, I'll take it.
It's kind of like, which way did you flip the football?
That's right.
Yeah. Fresh set of downs for the Cats with 1:38 to go here. Gugino's only thrown the ball once, and that was kind of a desperation. Look out, Wheeling was in quick. Lions had no chance there. He's going to lose 3 on that play. Boy, he read that one well.
Yeah, sometimes the defense is going to guess right. Sometimes they're going to. Now, what we don't know is whether they guessed right and shot the gap because they knew it was coming or because that was their pre-planned stunt. But in any event, you're right. He was in way too fast, and the offensive lineman had no opportunity to pin him in and give the running back an opportunity to cut. Just not much room there for him. Obviously, going straight north and south is going to be the best bet for the Cats against this very tough Minnetonka defense.
Obviously, I mean, Cody Smith is on that side, big number 75, and that makes sense to want to run behind him. But, boy, Wheeling is just so fast on that side. As I say that, Ian Smith have a good battle. Gugino will throw back across the middle. Dangerous pass, going to fall incomplete. Intended for number 12, Max Meekin of the Wildcats.
You know, it was a slow developing play, but I get a sense that if Gugino had a chance to set his feet just a half second earlier, he might have put a little more touch on that. He might have had a chance to get some more touch on that ball. Probably would have had a completion, Mike.
As it is, it's going to be 3rd and 13 upcoming for the Wildcats. The wind was blowing at Minnetonka's back, but boy, that flag is barely moving right now, so it's not one of those where you're going to call a timeout, force them to kick into the wind, I don't think. Although Dave Nelson knows way more than I do, I got to admit.
He's probably forgotten more about coaching than you and I'll ever know.
Oh my gosh, yes. 3rd and 13 from the 26. Tonka going back into pass D. Gugino, long count. 5-step drop, he steps up, throws, fires, cross side, and couldn't quite connect over at midfield. Get to that's number, I believe, is that Meekin once again? I believe it is, number 12. Once again, Eagan with these uniforms that are kind of tough to read from a distance, I got to say. So Sackmaster, he's here to kick it away. Although that nearly went to Eagan's advantage last time.
It certainly did. It certainly did, and they'll look for a repeat of that now. Tonka that time on 3rd and 13 had 4 deep in coverage. They were definitely looking for Eagan to pass, and that being said, Eagan still had an opportunity on 3rd down.
Scheckman back deep for the skipper, standing at about his own 38-yard line. And he's going to step up at about the 42. He catches it this time. Spins around one defender, trying to find some help. Not going to get it. Good job by the Wildcats, and we've got a late flag coming in. Dropped back at the 41-yard line by number... That's 84 for the Wildcats, Derek Hansen.
Yeah, Mike, that's going to be a block in the back on Minnetonka. One of the gunners was coming down and had outside containment and got hit in the back. That's going to cost them some yardage.
Yeah, Adam Call, number 87, down there as well for the Wildcats. Good coverage that time by Eagan. This will be the... Yeah, that's a 15-yarder. We'll take that one back to about the 32-yard line for Minnetonka. And it's going to be 24 seconds to go when Minnetonka gets the ball. Oh, we did try to mic up the official thing. Thought we had, but it looks like a little technical difficulty on that one. Still, bottom line is 15 on Tonka, and the ball goes back to their own 32-yard line where they'll take over. Just their second offensive series of the night. You got to remember they ran a fumble back early for their first points in this one. Let's see if Severson takes a long shot here. He's going deep. He's got his man Owens, and just off his left hand. Coverage back there by the Wildcats. I believe that's Hofstad on the coverage. Boy, and Owens just about able to pull that one in. That would have been a heck of a catch. Take a look.
Yeah, he makes an excellent effort. He gets one hand on it, but credit to the Eagan defensive secondary. They've had a little challenge earlier in the game, keeping up with people, sticking on wide receivers as they're crossing the formation. That time, coverage wasn't terrible. That ball had to be thrown in just the right place for a completion, and it was just off his tips.
Back in the shotgun, Severson looks the pass. He's got Hopkins back with him. Going to air it out once again. He's going to go far side this time. There's Owens. That's a much shorter pitch and catch, and that's going to get out to about the 30-yard line. Pickup of about 6 on what should be the final play of quarter number 1. And 2-1, and here comes the siren. Maybe. Apparently we lost the siren this year in Wildcat Country.
Well, it's the first game of the season for the Siren, too.
Absolutely. All right, after one, it's Minnetonka 14, the Eagan Wildcats nothing. We're going to be back momentarily. You're watching Wildcat football on ETV.
Eurasian water milfoil chokes lakes. Let's keep it out of our waters. Clean off plants, animals, and mud. Drain all water and leave plugs out while traveling. Rinse boat, live well, and gear with hot water. Spray with high pressure or dry for at least 5 days. These steps are simple, and they help stop aquatic invasive species.
I'm doing my part to protect our lakes.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And we welcome you back inside Wildcat Stadium as we start the second quarter. 14-10, and Minnetonka looks like they're going to get a first down here on the opening play of quarter number 2. Mitch Klass, his first reception of the game for Minnetonka, who's up 14-0. And you look at that last PSA that we just ran. That's going to be a lot of kids next Tuesday, I believe, when school starts.
That's right. We've got a lot of kids, especially those new freshmen, getting used to a 7:25 start here in 196 for high school, at least at Eagan High School, and that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for them, especially when buses start picking them up around 6:30. And so, hopefully they can stay awake long enough to do well in school, and then still have a little something extra to come out to and for football practice or soccer practice or whatever they're doing after school.
You mentioned soccer. Both those teams are up at Eden Prairie tonight, both the boys and the girls. Volleyball, I think, is playing over at Chanhassen tonight, and I believe the swim team is somewhere as well. Straight up the middle for Minnetonka, out near a first down. Had to be Hopkins. No, I take that back. That's like Ben Tolkien, number 30, his first carry of the night for the Minnetonka Skippers, and he gets out just across midfield. Well, you don't want to see that from the defense. He carried 3 or 4 of those guys for the last few yards.
Yeah, he definitely lowered the shoulder on that. That's going to be a bad sign if that keeps happening.
Severson, you would think a free play. Instead, they're going to come near side. That's the first down for Minnetonka, down to about the Eagan 43-yard line. And number 3 on the reception is Voorhees, and a flag though on the play. Let's see what we've got. You would think that would be in the area of a Minnetonka infraction with somebody coming out leading the way.
It's a hold on the outside receiver, Mike.
There's the official call. You look at Zach Merwin, number 40 for the Wildcats, one of the junior linebackers. We were talking before we came in the air. Eagan has just 4 returners on defense this year, none in the secondary. So it's kind of trial by fire tonight when you're playing a top team like this. But I know Coach Hansen, they are really high on this group.
Well, these guys have some great opportunities. They have opportunities to show everybody, the coaches themselves, their fans, their teammates, classmates, everybody, that they can stand up to one of the best passing attacks in the state.
So Tonka second and about 8 from their own 42-yard line. Severson tried to go across the middle. Incomplete pass. That was number 28, the intended target. That was Klass who caught one earlier. Good coverage down there by the Wildcats. And we got somebody else, like they were limping just a little bit on that Eagan defense. Hopefully it's just like a little cramp or something. And so we said it's about 75 degrees at midtime here at game time. By the way, for those of you watching, Eden Prairie up 14-3 over Eastview right now. 3rd and 9. Definitely looks like a passing situation. A little short pass. Yeah, good screen, good coverage that time by the Eagan Wildcats. So Minnetonka are going to be forced to punt this one away for the first time. I believe Vlad Zablin was in there among those others for the Wildcats.
And as challenged as Eagan was early in the game in terms of coverage, the last couple of plays they've really tightened up, and they've shown a lot more athleticism. And that time they did a great job sniffing it out, and then breaking down. The defenders were coming at the ball, but they didn't run full speed. They broke down, throttled down, dropped their hips, and they did an excellent job of containing the play, which is what they had to do.
Kicking for the Skippers is Severson, the quarterback. Hofstad back deep for the Wildcats. Just under 10 minutes to go here in the opening half on ETV. Severson, he'll kind of knuckle one off the side of his foot. And that ball's going to go out of bounds at the 38-yard line. That's an 18-yard punt for Minnetonka. So Cats are going to have really good field position for their first series of quarter number 2.
Well, this is what you want if you're Eagan. If you're in this situation, you're down by a couple of scores, you have an opportunity here with a little less than 10 minutes to go in the half to put together something to really show some momentum. You know, if Eagan can put together 2 or 3 first downs, move the ball, certainly get it down into the other end, give the defense a chance to get some water, get some rest, and readjust, make some adjustments. They're gonna be in good shape for the second half. And if and God forbid, you know, if they get a touchdown, they get a score of some sort, they're right back in this football game against a very good football team.
Well, you mentioned that, and that was one thing that Ben Hansen was telling me the other day at practice. Last year, there was too many times where the defense was off the field. Then they had to come back on. You look at the clock, and 18 seconds have elapsed, 29 have elapsed, and they just got worn down so much last year because you had an offense that really struggled to click. They were throwing the ball a lot, so the time wouldn't move on an incompletion. As we say that, Gugino, look out behind him. He's going to throw it, and that's going to go the other way to the house. Wheeling, hit him in stride. Touchdown, Tonka. No flags on the play. That's going to be about a 32-yard return. 37, they're going to say officially on the interception return. Let's take a look at this. Gugino maybe felt the pressure behind him, but that just vastly underthrown football that time. But that's one you're going to learn from. Again, Gugino's first career start as a varsity quarterback. And Minnetonka looking to go up 21-0 if the PAT goes.
Well, obviously definitely not what you want if you're Eagan High School and the Eagan Wildcats, but at the same time, you know, a couple of defensive touchdowns in this situation. It's, you know, the defense is a little more stout maybe than it was last year, and they're in a situation where if they can just get on the board, I think, Mike, they're going to get some confidence, and they're going to have some good. They'll turn something around here in the second half if they can just get on that board.
And the Pit trying to fire things up. Kick is on its way, and it is good. So 9:34 to go here in the opening half. And they are up by a 21-0 count over the Wildcats. By the way, Wayzata Rosemount, scoreless after 1. So let's see that. The Pit, they were trying to fire things up here on the beach out. So let's see what the Wildcats can do coming out of that one play drive that unfortunately went the wrong way.
Yeah, and I think quarterbacks, you know, especially young or inexperienced quarterbacks, have to be able to bounce back from situations like that where mistakes get made or bad things happen, you know, whatever. And we're going to see how Gugino bounces back from that, and we're going to see how he responds. And hopefully he's got a short memory. Kind of like a hockey goalie or a pitcher that gives up a home run. I mean, you just got to move on past that, and next time you make that roll out, you set your feet a little bit more, you put a little more air under the ball. He clearly had somebody he was going to, he just didn't quite get the air that he wanted, and next time there should be that air under the ball.
So kicking off for the 4th time tonight is Altman, I should say, for Minnetonka. This will be McGinley, his first return attempt of the night for the Wildcats. And he's going to run into a host of players up at about the 28-yard line. Number of them in there for Tonka, including number 85 down there, Trent Hollings, the junior wide receiver. Well, this is pretty much what Ben Hansen was telling me the other day you did not want to have happen.
No, this is definitely not what you want to have happen. At the same time, I mean, you know, Eagan still finds itself in an opportunity if they can, you know, I'll rewind to what I said about 99 seconds ago, which is if they can put together a handful of first downs, they can move the ball into Tonka territory, show that they've got some still A, fighting spirit, and B, that give themselves some confidence going into halftime. And if they get some points on the board, great. And if they can't get any points on the board, that still shows them something.
Run straight ahead, or just off left side, I should say, for the Wildcats. It's going to be a minimal pickup. They're going to give them 3 yards out to the 30-yard line. Carter Lyons once again the ball carrier. And again, we expect Lyons to really be the workhorse this year for the Wildcats. I was trying to find his numbers from last year as I go through the notes that we had somewhere. We'll get that for you. we did prepare for this game somewhat. Anyway, Carter Lyons, number 9, he'll be the guy to definitely keep an eye on. Number 5 into the game for the Wildcats right now is Dylan McGuire, the senior fullback. Expect to see a lot of Dylan again this year as well. And good play there by the Wildcats. Get out near the 35-yard line. That was McGinley. She mentioned last year we were looking for Carter Lyons, 76 carries for 248. He was definitely a workhorse for the Wildcats a season ago. So it's going to be 3rd and about 2 upcoming for the Wildcats.
Well, it just goes to show you if you get 2 positive running plays and you can put something together, suddenly you give yourself a 3rd makeable. Every offensive coordinator, every team will take 3rd and 2 every time if you give it to them. So now's the time for Eagan to step up and get this first down.
Well, in 3rd and 2, it just gives you so many options of what you can do. Gugino, another long count. Lyons goes right side, and it's going to be close. He fell forward. I think he's going to be just shy. Needed 2. Thinking he got about 1.5 maybe. And that's going to be 4th down. Looking where the marker is on the far side. It's going to be 4th and 1 upcoming for the Wildcats. Number 8 there for the Minnetonka Skippers, one of their other tough defensive players. That's J.J. Scheckman out of the cornerback. Cats appear to be ready to go for it. They went for it earlier this quarter, or that was last quarter actually. Did get the first down. McGinley brings in the play, number 6. Gugino corrals the troops. Break huddle. Keep an eye on Hansen out there on the far side, number 84. I don't know if you dare try to go to Derek Hansen this time. They haven't called him yet on offense. Or does Gugino keep it? Tonka might have jumped. Straight ahead, power back, first down Wildcats.
Excellent discipline there by the offensive line, not jumping even though Minnetonka did move. Now they obviously did move into the neutral zone, otherwise that would have been an encroachment penalty. But offensive line gets a lot of credit there for Eagan, not jumping, not flinching, which is of course the natural reaction to something jumping into the neutral zone.
Yeah, Dylan McGuire that time. So it's going to be first down out at the Eagan 39-yard line.
Wildcats still have that quarterback sneak in their back pocket, though, Mike. You know that having the quarterback under center does give you some opportunities in short yardage situations that you might not have out of the pistol.
Gugino again up under center, tight formation for the Cats. Gino's going to throw. He's going to slip. He's going to get dropped. Boy, good coverage back there by Minnetonka. Hustling in was number 49, Sandler Tollefson from his linebacker spot. Boy, Gugino just had no time. Fortunate to hang on to that football after he set it on the turf briefly. 2nd and 15 upcoming for the Wildcats. You know, for a young guy like Gugino, how fast is this game right now? I mean, it's a step up from 10th grade sophomore football. You're now playing varsity against one of the top teams in the state.
Yeah, the game is much faster. The contact comes faster. The decisions have to be much faster, too. And that's why, good players, good high school players are going to be in a situation where they make decisions before it happens. In other words, experienced players have that ability to react to what they see around them rather than have to think about it. And he'll get there. He just needs some time and he needs some experience.
Absolutely. 2nd and 15 upcoming for the Cats. Gugino to throw if he has time, but he doesn't get a lot of time. And he falls forward, gets about 5 on the fine individual effort. I think that was Scheckman came in on the blitz and nearly had him. And it's going to be 3rd and about 10 upcoming for the Wildcats, but that was really a big 5.
Yeah, it was. That is the Eagan Wildcat version of making lemonade out of lemons. I mean, there was pressure. Gugino looked like he might go for a sack. We're a little concerned about, if you're watching at home, you're wondering, oh geez, what's he going to do here? And he does a great job of stepping it up. Coaches have said in the past, when the quarterbacks, hey, if you have 5 yards of green grass in front of you, take it.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what he did. That's an excellent decision by a quarterback in his first start.
3rd and 10 with 4.5 to go before half.
Look at all those guys on the defensive line there.
And look out, Gugino. He's got no chance, no time. A lot of guys in there. Sullivan leading the way for Minnetonka, and once again, Tollefson there as well.
Well, Tonka definitely dialed up the pressure. You saw on the screen all of those players stacked on the line of scrimmage. They shot every gap, and that's the situation where Eagan had what looked like maybe a rollout or a slow developing rollout play, and that's you're going to struggle if they're going to bring 8 or 9 or 7 or 8 like that. You're going to struggle because they only had 4 defensive backs off the line.
Sackmaster to punt it away again. A low liner there. It's going to be dropped. It's going to be down at about the 32-yard line. So Minnetonka, pretty decent starting position once again. Downfield quickly for the Wildcats. As you look at him there, number 11, Joey Gallus. He's a junior D-back. And he'll stay on the field as a defender for the Wildcats. 3:44 to go before halftime. Minnetonka already up by a 21-0 count, largely on the backs of 2 defensive scores.
Mike, you wonder in this situation or in any situation ongoing, you've got a quarterback in Severson who's so highly touted. Ordinarily here you might run the football and get a first down before you do something, but he might be throwing right away.
And they did that in their last series. They're going to come on, try and run a near side. Breaking a number of tackles. Look at that second, third effort. Nice run by Minnetonka's. I believe that was number 30, Ben Tolkinen. I believe his other carry this game, too, he dragged guys for quite a while as well. Boy, I'll tell you, that was 27. Jake Haley had a really good opportunity to drop him back at the line.
Yeah, Egan's got to take advantage, Mike, of those opportunities. They can't create challenges for themselves by missing tackles or not wrapping up.
And they are indeed going to give him a first down on that carry. Tolkinen, he's going to be wrapped up that time. Good job by the Eagan defense there, stepping up into the play. It's like number 27 that time. Haley got some redemption on that play. Coming up making the stop for the Wildcats.
Yeah, he sure did. He came out of that like he was shot out of a cannon. So excellent play to recover from the play before. Defensive players are just the same as quarterbacks. They've got to be able to put the last play behind them and focus on their next assignment. That's what he did.
2nd and 10 from the 41 for the Skippers. Both teams do have 3 timeouts remaining. Severson looks like a pass situation. No, they're going to run it straight ahead. Oh, I'm going for the strip that time. We're the Wildcats. That was Merwin, I believe, going for the strip. Nearly got it. Instead, it's a 4-yard pickup for the Skippers. It's going to set up 3rd and about 6 for Minnetonka.
As a coach, you love to see a player being aggressive, going for the strip. At the same time, you want to make sure that you get that guy tackled. There's such strong runners out of that Minnetonka backfield that we got to make sure that we're wrapping up if we're Eagan. As much as we want to strip that ball, we can't give him that first down by failing to make that tackle. So lucky there, we had some good pursuit from some of his teammates.
As the clock continues to run, as I said, we have actually timeout. I stand corrected. I said both teams had 3 timeouts. Tonka took that one earlier. I did forget that. And they take their second right now here with 2:18 to go. Should mention elsewhere around the area tonight, we've got Lakeville North at Burnsville, Prior Lakes at Shakopee, EP's at Eastview, Edina's at Lakeville South, which is where the Wildcats will be next week. An ETV broadcast, by the way, on the new turf down at Lakeville South. Wayzata Rosemont, we saw they were scoreless after 1. Apple Valley in 5A, they're at Hopkins. And Woodbury at Farmington tomorrow night. That should be a pretty good contest down there at the Shrine in Farmington.
That should be. It's always a tough place to go down and play in Farmington.
Boy, Eagan Farmington, that's kind of a big game this year, and I'm trying to think, why is that again?
I don't know. Might have something to do with homecoming game.
Yeah, but it's not actually at home.
So it's not really a homecoming game,
no,
or is it?
I believe it's the first game at the Vikings training camp facility, TCO Orthopedics. A lot of excitement about that game, but right now you got to worry about getting a stop, and they're not going to get it here on 3rd and 7. And Minnetonka's going to get a first down at the 40 3-yard line. Owens once again the receiver. Boy, he's having a good first half as Jackson Owens.
Well, it's good to be lucky as well as good. And that time he coughed up the ball. It was on the ground for just a second, and he was able to cover his own fumble. So, it's good when you can be good. It's better when you can be lucky and good.
So fresh set of downs from the 42 of Eagan. Just under 2 minutes to go now in the opening half here on ETV. Severson's he's going to go up. Is he going to try to go deep with it? He's going to go deep. He's got a man wide open, and he just overthrew Owens. Cats breathing a sigh of relief on that one.
Well, I'm a little curious, Mike. I'm not sure where the safety coverage was on that. I did not catch to see exactly what coverage they were in, but clearly, as you said, the wide receiver is breaking deep, and he's about 5 yards deeper than everybody else.
Yeah, let's see what happened here. Well, more than 5, but just off his hands. Cats dodging a bullet there, but they still are down 21-0. Derek say in a first half that could have been a dagger already. I mean, if you're down 4 scores to Minnetonka. 3 is going to be hard enough. Straight ahead, Tokinen, and he's going to get near the first down. He's going to pick up, I believe, 9. Actually, they're going to make it about 8 when they spot the football. I like what I'm seeing out of this Tokinen kid. He's just a good hard-nosed runner for Minnetonka. And unfortunately for Eagan, their offensive line is pretty much imposing their will right now on Eagan.
Yeah, they've got some big guys over there that are, once they get leaning on your defensive line and they're able to fire off, it's hard to stop those guys.
3rd and 3 for the Skippers. 3 receivers set. Severson looking. He's got his man coming across for. He's just dropped it. So that's going to be 4th down Minnetonka, and I would imagine they're going to be going for it. Hofstad on the coverage there for the Eagan Wildcats.
And I think that's definitely what Voorhees is going to want back. That's I think that hit. He was probably thinking, what am I going to do with this ball after I catch it? And unfortunately, the young man just didn't bring it into his body. Right.
So you could make the argument with 1:10 to go here in the opening half, and it's 21-0 Minnetonka. But what you could argue, Eagan's really only giving up 7 on defense.
Absolutely, and if I'm Eagan, that's exactly what I'm touting. I'm saying, hey guys, we're hanging with these guys. We just got to hang with them a little bit longer and get our offense on track.
4th and 3, Severson across the middle.
That's picked off.
Cats are going to get the ball. Good field position out near the 45-yard line. Trying to see who's coming out of the pile with that football, and I believe is that LeBert? No, Sackmaster, number 13. So Sackmaster with the pick.
Well, it was a 4th and short play. They were looking for a quick hitting pass across the middle over to the left side, and Sackmaster drops into coverage, takes up his lane, and sticks his big mitts out, grabs the ball, takes off up the field. Nice play by the young man.
63 seconds to go in the opening half. Cats at the 44-yard line. If you're wondering, Nathan Willis, the kicker, he's gotten stronger every year. He's now finally a senior. He was kicking as a freshman. I would think if you get within where it's a 40-yard opportunity, they're going to give it to him. It's got to be a little bit of wind at his back as the Cats are going to run straight ahead. And there'll be a timeout taken, I would imagine, here by the Eagan Wildcats after a minimal pickup. I'm guessing that was Carter Lyons. And I believe indeed it was. So 2 yards we're going to say on that one. Timeout with 54.6 to go. I wonder if by chance their Coach Hansen is a little concerned about Gugino. Just make sure you're calm down. Maybe running the whole 2-minute offense right now. Maybe not, something you want to do with him quite yet as you're developing him as a quarterback.
Well, I think there's that. Mike, also, I think it's you, as a team, you want to make sure that this half does not end with any more points against your team, and you want to make sure that you get a little bit of momentum. So I think getting a first down and a new set of downs here, giving yourself an opportunity for maybe one heave to the end zone might be your plan, as opposed to really trying to go down the field methodically and take big chunks of yardage. So maybe that's what they're thinking.
So we did tease it earlier, but yeah, it's the September the 28th, Farmington at Eagan for homecoming at the Vikings practice facility, the TC Orthopedic Stadium, I believe it's called. I know Coach Hansen said that place seats about 6,000. They're expecting probably more than that. They're going to try and squeeze in there that night. A, it's homecoming. B, it's going to be the first high school game in that stadium, so there's going to be a lot of interest.
Absolutely.
Here's Gugino. He's going to throw. He looks to throw anyway. Scrambling near side. A lot of white shirts around him. Throws across his body, and that's going to be out near the 46. I believe it's going to be a first down for the Eagan Wildcats. That's going to be Meekin on the reception. Max Meekin, number 12. Max with a nice job of coming back to help out his quarterback as well. Oh, there's a flag on the far side. It's over by the Minnetonka bench. And let's see what our official has to say. Tonka's moving like it's going to be on the Wildcats. Let's see what the shift on the Wildcats. So instead of first down at the Minnetonka 46, ball is going to go back inside the Wildcat 40, I believe, once they finally mark it. No, actually, they're going to be second down at the 41-yard line. There you go. Now they move the stick on the far side, the down marker. And getting the clock reset to 45 seconds, we've been told. Currently sits at 40.7. Cats with, there you go. Cats do have 2 timeouts still available to them.
It was a nice play by Gugino to keep that play alive, Mike, and to use his feet to buy himself some time and then find somebody. That was a nice play. Let's see if we can get a few more plays like that out of him.
Yep. Tonka drops back. Looks like they're going to be in coverage. Yep, they are going to drop into coverage. Gugino, still good pressure by the skippers. Gugino's going to keep it himself. 45, 50, cuts to the outside. Gugino, 45, inside the Tonka 45-yard line. Nice run of about 17 yards by number 17.
Well, his eyes never left the looking downfield, Mike. I don't know if you saw that or not, but his eyes were downfield virtually that whole time until he made the decision, I'm running this ball. And at that point, he pulled it down and put on the jets. Look at him go. And he gets 2 or 3 nice blocks there.
Oh, who's that downfield? That was number 11 there. That was Gallus.
That was an excellent block, and you saw number 53 from Minnetonka checking his helmet to make sure the face mask was still there. That was a heck of a block.
And they're actually going to spot him all the way down to the 40, so that was going to be a 19-yard pickup. 33.5 seconds to go. Cats with 2 timeouts. We said you probably got to get down to about the 23, 25 for Willis to have a chance. Gugino, look out, and he steps up, keeps it. He's going to get a good chunk of the way right there. He's tripped up, gets down to the 28-yard line. 12 yards for the Eagan quarterback.
Well, Mike, Eagan's got to do something about, now that time they did pick it up, but Tonka had 7 players on the line of scrimmage, all shooting gaps. They had 4 defensive backs, a good 12 to 15 yards off the ball. That time the running backs picked up the extra blitzers, but Eagan's got to make some adjustments, or probably think about that at halftime about how they want to handle that, because Tonka's going to keep doing that. Eagan's going to have to find some answer to it.
You look at Ethan Gugino, the junior quarterback for the Wildcats. He's out there with offensive coordinator Adam Copeland. New offensive coordinator this year for the Wildcats. Copeland?
A new offensive coordinator and a new offense. I mean, what you're seeing out there, if you're watching on television, for years the Cats have had a spread offense. As we've teased before the game, we've got a new offensive setup. It's a hybrid. It's a little bit of spread here and there, but it's a lot of it looks like what you might call a wing T or some sort of T action. So the quarterback's under center. There's a fullback, usually behind the quarterback, not so much split backs, with an offset halfback, sometimes a wing, and they'll move people around to try to create opportunities. And there's some quick-hitting blocks that help those offensive linemen set up their blocks, and some action, play action away, play action two, that should give Ethan Gugino and any quarterback there in the system a good opportunity to be successful.
From the 27, the Cats with some momentum. Gugino long. Good pressure once again by Minnetonka. He's got to hustle that one out. Makes the far side. I believe that's going to be Meekin on the reception down at about the 23-yard line. And Cats are going to take their final timeout. I believe that is their 3rd timeout. From the under the 22, that's a 5-yard pickup.
You know, Mike, it was a 5-yard pickup, and I was keeping an eye on the clock. It looked like the play was dead, and the officials were asking for this clock to be stopped somewhere around 19 or 20 seconds. We'll see if they adjust the clock here at all, but it looked like a few extra seconds went off the clock. Yep, and it looks like they are going to adjust that game clock.
A little stretch there on the Wildcat sideline. Yeah, it is a little warm out there tonight. A little wiping the sweat off. And just mentioned Wildcat fans, next Friday night, the September the 7th, Eagan at Lakeville South, 7 o'clock kickoff. Broadcasting live on the ETV channel once again. Channel 20 for those of you in the area. Otherwise, of course, on the World Wide Web, eagan-tv.com. You look at some of the games coming up at Rosemount. And back here against the Shakopee Sabres, who last I saw were down 13-3 to Prior Lake in the second. At Rosemount game, that'll be a tough one. Irish, they always seem to find a way to play well, especially against Eagan. You got that receiver, Jonathan Mann. Yeah, he's pretty good. Gopher commit. 2nd and 10 for the Cats with 19 seconds to go. Gugino, he's going to throw far side, incomplete, but again, really good pressure by the Minnetonka Skippers. That play took just over 3 seconds.
Yeah, Eagan's got to have a solution to this hard rushing Minnetonka defensive line. There's two things they need to do. Either one of two things. Either A, they need to stop those helmets, and they need to stop the momentum of those rushers. Even if they can't block them for 5 seconds, that's fine. Just stop the momentum because they're coming hard. Or we need to work on something that we can do for like a screen or a draw or a slip draw, something like that to slow those guys up and use that penetration against them. They can't take away everything, and I'm sure Coach Hansen and the offensive unit in the halftime are going to do something to say, hey, what are we going to do about these hard rushing guys?
Without having to put a couple extra guys on the line potentially.
That's right.
Because then you've
right.
got nothing downfield. And
That's right. I don't think a 2-man or a 1-man pattern makes a whole lot of sense if you're Eagan,
right.
if you can help it.
3rd and 6, 15.4 to go in the half. Cats looking to get on the board. They trail 21-0, and we've got the fall start, I believe, on the Wildcats. Or delay, they're going to say. Okay. Real similar signal by the official. I thought he was moving his arms, but either way, you're moving it back 5 yards.
Hard to see sometimes with a glare, but ultimately moving back 5 yards either because of an false start or because of a delay of game. That's not what you want on 3rd down when you're driving and you're making some momentum and you're picking something up that you can take in a halftime. Let's hope that we don't end up 5 yards short of a touchdown.
Or this 5 yards, you're right in the edge of that field goal range too.
That's right.
Now you're back to the 28. Let's say you get nothing here. You're looking at 45. I don't know if I'm not sure Willis is going to be good from 45. He's got a good leg. Like I said, if he at 40, I think they would definitely give him a shot. Officials taking their time. There seems to be a little more confusion here on the field. Got to get the clock reset, I believe. Let's take a look. All right, Cats come up 3rd and 11. The other thing is you've got to make sure you get out of bounds here if you do complete the pass.
Game clock, 10 seconds, please.
And we're going to reset the game clock to 10 seconds. Not sure on that one, but okay. And we've got 1.0. No, there we go. Now it's up to 10. All right. Gugino under center. We've got a false start on the Wildcats. It's on the left tackle there, 74 Cooper. That was a pretty obvious call.
Yeah, that time you like it if the defensive lineman moved into the neutral zone, at least bail you out. But sometimes blockers in their zeal will move their feet a little too much. And to credit, his pass setup looked nice. His feet were where I wanted him to be, and his hands were in nice and tight. He looked ready to pass block. Fortunately, it went a little quick.
Well, at this point, you just throw up a Hail Mary here, don't you? If you got a chance. Gugino across the middle. It's going to be, even if it's caught, time is going to expire. That's 12 is the reception. Meakin. And what do we got here? The clock's hit 0.
And I think that's going to be halftime,
That is going to be halftime, yep. So Meakin with the reception. And at the intermission, it's going to be the Minnetonka Skippers 21, the Eagan Wildcats nothing. Minnetonka is going to get the ball to start the second half as well. Cats heading to the locker room. Minnetonka is going to head to their locker room off the far side. It's going to give us an opportunity. We're going to take ourselves a breather here, being at the half. And once again, your score: the Minnetonka Skippers 21, the Eagan Wildcats nothing. You're watching Wildcat football on ETV.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Your son wants to get a cat,
I'll really take care of it.
but you're allergic.
It's Eagan Day for August 31st, 2018. The Eagan Wildcats fall sports season has begun. Come and cheer on the Wildcats as they compete in the South Suburban Conference. You can watch the games replayed on Comcast Channel 20 and CenturyLink Channel 8833. On Monday, the Metropolitan Airport Commission held a listening session that was open to the public at the Eagan Community Center. The agenda for the meeting specifically addressed concerns and questions regarding aircraft noise at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport.
And a special thanks to the Airport Relations Commission members who are here. The Commission recognized the need to have this meeting, and they listened to the community's concerns and shaped questions that the MAC and FAA representatives will respond to this evening. I'm here on behalf of the City Council to listen to each of you, your concerns and recommendations. I also look forward to hearing from the MAC, FAA, and Delta representatives to learn why the noise is so frequent this summer and what can be done to reduce it going forward.
With such a hot summer this year, many people escape the heat by going to Cascade Bay.
During the summer at Cascade Bay, if it's hot, we're busy. People are here, and this summer's been great for the heat. Temperatures have been wonderful, so it's been a great summer for swimming. Cascade Bay will close Labor Day, and during our final week, we go down to shortened hours because we do lose a lot of our staff. Cascade Bay will open early June in 2019. Usually that first weekend in June will be our preview weekend, which is shortened hours, and then we'll open that first Friday, typically, for the season.
And that is your Eagan Update. If you have an event or story you want covered, please contact us at generalinfo@cityofeagan.com or by giving us a call at 651-848-4698.
Eater makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Your son wants to get a cat,
I'll really take care of it.
but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good stir. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay. Yeah. Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
If you hunt waterfowl, help stop.
Welcome back inside Wildcat Country, where we get set for second half action with the Minnetonka Skippers leading the Eagan Wildcats by a 21-0 count. My name is Mike Cook. Nathan Cron here with me this year. And Nathan, really, if you take away the 2 turnovers for touchdown by Tonka, I mean, it's a 7-0 game, and the Cats have got to feel pretty good.
Well, absolutely, Mike. I mean, it's hard to take away 2 great plays by the Minnetonka defense, but at the same time, the Cats did, to some degree, shoot themselves in the foot. And I think if they eliminate those mistakes and they build on the momentum that they generated there late in this first half with a nice drive that could have turned into points, if they capitalize on that after they get Minnetonka off the board, they have a chance to be competitive in this football game. And who knows, if they get a touchdown, maybe they get a little bit of a ball bounces their way, maybe they get a penalty that they need to keep a drive alive, and suddenly they get some points on the board and they get some confidence. I think getting some points on the board against a tough Tonka defense would do them a world of good.
I think that was probably exactly what Coach Ben Hansen told the guys at halftime.
And if it was, then good for me and my sources. But ultimately, it comes down to these young men in gray with the blue socks. They've got to step into the opportunity that's been given to them. I mean, they're playing one of the top teams in the state, and they're hanging with them if they can just eliminate the mistakes, stick on their blocks a little bit longer, make sure they're wrapping up on the tackles a little bit better, make sure they're not turning the ball over. If they can do that, they have an opportunity to compete with some wonderful athletes over there in white and blue on the Minnetonka sideline. And, Eagan's showing us something, and the level of their competition here is tremendous. But they have an opportunity here, and they're showing us what they can do and what their potential could be as the season progresses.
Yeah, as you look at the pit here in Wildcat Country, it is a beach out night tonight for the Eagan pit. I saw they were out tailgating before the game tonight, so they're all fired up. Yeah, here we are yet a week before school, and they're still out there fired up. Minnetonka they brought a decent crowd down from over on that side of town, fighting through traffic to get here. And I believe their version of the pit I saw where there as a tropical night was their theme. So, and look at that shot there. There's a pretty good crowd making it down from Minnetonka. Rush hour on a Thursday night. And speaking of Tonka, I know that's where our freshman 9-18 played today. You got a report there for us?
Well, I do, Coach. It was a hard-fought game. The Minnetonka Skippers obviously have a lot of talent. They've got good numbers, and they were a well-coached football team. Eagan ended up going down 19-0. The score was 13-0 in the third quarter. Eagan had an interception that returned down to the Minnetonka 15-yard line. Had a chance to punch one in, couldn't quite get it in. And then Tonka got a score late. So for most of the game, it was a 2-score game. And Eagan just couldn't quite put together what they needed to put together offensively, which is kind of like what we've had here. We've had a few glimpses of an offense that can move that football consistently with the running attack or Gugino's feet on the scramble or whatever. But it's that front five, those guys up front who need to be consistent and give the other players on the field, the other guys on the field, the opportunity to do what they can do. And if they can get that, like the freshmen today, these varsity players are going to enjoy rewards for that.
You look at Dave Nelson there on the right side, the guy without the hat, long-time high school football coach. Big fan of high school football throughout the state. He's just a tremendous asset to the game. I mentioned his 35th year as a head man, 17th here in Tonka, 41st overall. And actually, I asked him before the game. I know he's a good friend of Randy Shaver over at Care 11, who's also a big high school football supporter. And, of course, we all wish Randy the best. And he's got to fight cancer once again. But, he'll find a way to get through it probably. He's got a lot of support from the high school football community.
Well, when people are dealing with illnesses, Mike, whenever you're dealing with any tough time, in your life, whether it's an illness or some sort of other problem, the best thing you can have is just support from people around you. And sometimes, and this is a PSA for anybody out there who knows somebody going through things like that, the best thing you can do is just be there for them. Just be there for them and listen to them talk. And sometimes they're talking about nothing. Sometimes they want to talk about high school football. We're going to be talking about high school football for another half. But at the same time, ultimately what you do is you just try to be a good person, try to help people when you can. But leaving aside the important stuff, let's get to some trivial stuff. Let's talk about some football.
Willis is going to kick off for the Wildcats. There's a look at Nate, number 20. High kick, short kick. Tonka's going to be able to field this one up by one of the backs, and it's going to be out across the 20. Good coverage there by the Wildcats. And they're finally going to wrestle the man down at about the 30-yard line. Number of Wildcats in there for Eagan as you look at the time here in the third quarter. number 23, Adam Bartell, first man down for the Wildcats. As the clock is running, I'm not sure why, but change of possession. There you go. So 21-0 Minnetonka. Severson, the quarterback, is going to lead things out. Aaron Severson, he's a 6 foot, 200-pound senior. A lot of schools looking at him. Among them, I saw Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois. I believe Northern Iowa was on that list as a potential team that really wants Severson. And you can see why. He's shown it to him. He's thrown the ball well. Done a good job. He's going to hand it off this time to Hopkins, and he's going to get about 4 yards for Minnetonka there on first down. Hopkins, who broke his ankle against Eagan a year ago and missed the rest of the season, obviously having a much better night so far for Minnetonka.
Clearly, and for a young man who goes through adversity like that, I mean, when you're 16, 18 years old, that counts as adversity. That's something that is, that's your whole world, and so to bounce back from that and to be successful shows a lot of character on his part.
2nd and 6, just about a minute gone by. Keeping it on the ground are the Minnetonka Skippers, and that's going to be a first down on near the 46-yard line. This time, once again, Hopkins, a number of Wildcats having to get in on that stop. Got through to that secondary, and I believe it was Hofstad, first man there to touch him. But 2 plays is 15 yards for Minnetonka.
Yeah, that's definitely not a trend that you want to see continue, Mike. Egan's got to be able to have that collision occur closer to the line of scrimmage.
Shotgun formation here for the Skippers. They're going to throw it this time. They're going to go deep. I'm assuming that's going to be Owens down there. And it is Owens. Good coverage back there that time by O2 for the Wildcats. There's Charles, number 29 for the Wildcats. He's a senior D-back. Boy, that Owens he's shown some flashes of speed tonight. He's gotten been open a couple of times behind these defenders.
He sure has, Mike. And what's interesting here is it's the first game, you can tell even for a team like Minnetonka that are well coached and very athletic, that's the third big overthrow that we've had tonight from Severson. There's no question about the young man's talent, but clearly he and his receivers not quite on the same page yet.
Right. Severson, he'll keep it this time. He'll get a first down inside the Cats' territory. Still on his feet. Down, good run by the Minnetonka quarterback. That started back at his own 45-yard line. Finally, Sackmaster, I believe, down there to help knock him out of bounds, but that was a 25-yard pickup by Severson.
Well, the flow of the play all went to the left side of the formation. Severson then pulls the ball in and goes hard to the right side, and he found a lot of extra room over there. I think the Wildcats may have struggled with a little bit of tackling there, Mike, because it looked like maybe they had some chances to stop him for a much smaller gain.
This drive started back on the Minnetonka 30. Now at the Wildcat 30, Severson to Hopkins, and he's tripped up a little bit in the backfield, but still keeps on moving. That's a first down for Minnetonka, down to the 17-yard line. Let's see who that was for Eagan that had the first shot at him. I believe it was Sackmaster had the initial contact, nearly had the ankle tackle. So they're going to spot the ball. Actually, they're going to put him at the 19. This is knee, or it's where his knee hit the ground. Actually, it might have been Meekin there, number 4. Ryan Meekin had the first opportunity, 44. Bottom line is he couldn't hang on, didn't get any help, and it's first down in the red zone for Minnetonka here in the early stages of the second half. Skippers up by a 21-0 count, looking to make it a 4-score game. The Hopkins run into pretty much the entire Eagan defense, I believe, in on that stop. Let's see what's up on the bottom of the pile there for the Wildcats. It looks like Sackmaster again, I believe, that time.
Yeah,
for our was in there as well.
Excuse me, Mike. I was just saying, for our viewers at home, watch this offensive line. Watch this offensive line as they lean together on the defensive line. There's very little space between their shoulder pads, and they're leaning hard. There's a great wedge to run behind if you're a running back.
3 receivers to the left for Severson. He's shouting out something to that far side. They see something in that Eagan secondary. Severson's going to go that way, near side. He's got his man Voorhees, and he's going to get down to, finally dropped at about the 15-yard line. Good, nice tackle there. Hofstad was in there, and he was able to help out number 11 on the play. That's Joey Gallus with the initial stop.
It was a fine open field tackle by Hofstad. He did a good job of breaking down and wrapping up. Not going for a highlight. He's not trying to get on ESPN. He's simply trying to make the tackle and make a good wrap, and he did a great job with that.
Big stop potential here coming up for the Wildcats. It's going to be about 3rd and 5 for Minnetonka. Down at the 14-yard line. 2 receivers, or 3 in the play for Tonka. Severson hands off to Hopkins, and he's going to get down to about the 7, maybe the 6, and it's going to be a first down for Minnetonka. You mentioned it a moment ago, that offensive line, boy, Hopkins had 4 or 5 yards before he was even touched.
Right. Yeah, it's getting, and it's also getting to the point where this is, if you're Minnetonka, this is the drive where you are imposing your will on the Eagan defense and the defensive line. And the Eagan defensive lines, they've got to come up with something.
Absolutely.
They need to come up with something special, a strip, a sack, something to stop this momentum.
Severson looks to his right, sends a man in motion. And Severson, he'll keep. Stutter steps 5, 4, in, untouched. Touchdown Tonka. 6 for 6 from 6.
Well, that's what a great player does. A great player has an overthrow or two, or doesn't quite do what he doesn't quite get what he wants in the passing game. And you saw him with his legs, Mike, on this drive make 2 huge plays. One, the big 25-yard scamper earlier, and now the 6-yard touchdown run. Notice how he sets up his blocks. He did a great job of staying behind his blockers until he finds that right move, that outside cut. Eagan lost outside containment, and so Severson's able to walk in, as you say, untouched.
And you see the numbers on the scoreboard. That's where we're at right now. Altman looking to make that 28 on the visitor side. Snap is down. Kick is splitting the uprights. So you see 8:06 to go in the 3rd. And it's all Minnetonka right now. It's 28-0 Skippers. Well, let's look ahead here. Well, for Minnetonka next week, they have their home opener. They play Wayzata, who last we saw was leading Rosemount 7-0 at the half. Then they go to Maple Grove. They host Prior Lake. Then, of course, they've got the big showdown with Eden Prairie in October. But that's a tough schedule there for the Skippers. They're going to definitely be tested over on that side of town.
They are. They're going to be tested. I think based on what we've seen here tonight from Minnetonka, I think those other teams are going to be tested. I think this Minnetonka team, based on what they have coming back from being so good in the last year, they clearly have a good coaching staff and a lot of talent. They've got an excellent quarterback who, if he stays healthy, is going to give you a chance in every game to move the football. So, I think those teams are going to struggle with this Minnetonka team, too. These Minnetonka players look really, really good. They look really, really well coached. The opportunistic touchdowns is what really impresses me the most, Mike, because it's those kinds of things that really change the momentum of a game. We saw how it changed it earlier in the game.
Absolutely. By the way, just saw on the Twitter, Eagan Girls Soccer beat Eden Prairie tonight 4-1. So congrats to the Eagan Girls Soccer team on a win. Defending state champs. This will be Hofstad. Get back to the 1. Across the 10-15. Might have got a block in the back there by Eagan, but I think they got away with it. And they're going to be out across the 20 to about the 23-yard line, where the Cats will take over for the first time here in the second half. Now let's see what Gugino and the offense can get going this time, as you see Carter Lyons coming off the field.
Well, late in that first half, Mike, the Eagan Wildcats did a good job of moving the football, and one of the things that really jump-started them were Ethan Gugino's feet. And we're going to see in the second half, if they come back to that. My guess is they'll still try to have a run-heavy attack. They'll still try to have Lyons with a lot of the ball between the tackles or off tackle. But if they can get, a little bit of play action or a little bit of misdirection going with Gugino out on the edge, that might be a really good prescription for success for them.
Yeah, I think for an Eagan offense, you just got to let's get something together as we look ahead to that Lakeville South game next week. Second back gets it through up to the 25-yard line, and give him a couple that time. Getting that hole close so quick. Those Lions that time on the ball carrier is the ball carrier. Again, they're running at that side where Wheeling, number 32 there for Tonka, is so good. But Cody Smith out there leading the way for the Eagan Wildcats.
And there was a hole. There was a hole. There was an opportunity to make yardage there. It just closed very, very fast. I think it's really a testament to not only the stoutness of the Tonka defense, but their pursuit. They did such a good job of pursuing to the hole.
Cats going to run it again here on second down. Very similar play. Very similar result. Got about 3 yards that time. I believe that was McGinley that time. So it's going to be about a 3rd and 5 upcoming for the Wildcats. And again, another one of those situations that Coach Hanson's been talking about, where we just got to keep our defense off the field, let them get their breath, catch their breath, get some air, get a sip of water or Gatorade or something. But because right now Eagan would be, this would potentially be a 3 and out. This drive started with 7:57 to go on the clock. A couple of runs that's kept the clock moving, so get a couple extra breaths in there if you're the Wildcat defense. Minnetonka looks like they're just going to run the standard D right here. And they're going to send somebody from the outside. Gugino's got to step up. He's got no chance, no time, and he goes down once again. Carter Hislop this time for Minnetonka.
Mike, I think that was a coverage sack. Gugino had the ball. He's back. He's got a second to look down the field, but he just didn't see. I don't think he saw anybody open. Mm-hmm. The offensive line, a couple of the players on the offensive line were cut blocking, suggesting that it was going to be a quick release, maybe a 3-step drop, and clearly the ball wasn't, there wasn't any place for Gugino to go with that football.
So Sackmaster call on once again to punt it away. Good high kick. Fair catch is called for at the Tonka 49-yard line by number 8, J.J. Scheckman. And with just past the halfway point here in the third quarter, it's the Skippers 28 and the Wildcats nothing here on ETV. And as always, special shout out to those of you watching us tonight on the World Wide Web. Eagan-TV.com. Should be your home for, we believe, 7 of the 8 regular season games this year for Eagan Wildcat football. We'll look at Mark Anderson, the D coordinator. You saw him briefly there. Again, Lakeville South next Friday night the 7th. We'll be there at Rosemont the 14th. We're expected to be there. Cats not home till September 21st when Shakopee makes the trek over. And minimal gain there on first down for Minnetonka, but a good job of staying on his feet. Nick Downs, I believe, might have been the first guy in there for the Wildcats. Big number 92. Or check that, 92. I don't think we've called his name yet at all tonight from that defensive line. Again, just Minnetonka's got that surge on the offense.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can see from, if you're here live, but even with this great camera crew we have giving us these shots, watch that line as they just lean together and watch the offensive line just slide to the left side of your screen. Now that time there was a pull of the right guard. Sorry, Mike.
No, you're fine. Tolkien that time on the ball carry, or is the ball carrier, I should say. Gets a couple of yards, maybe. Hofstad in there for the Wildcats, along with number 2, Gazemzak. Big number 2 there, you see him. We got number 40 in there, Merwin. He's had a rough game. Ryan Meek at 44. He's really been trying to suck some wind, so to speak. Guys have had their hands full tonight.
They have. Now here's 3rd and long, and you have to think that a player like Severson with a coach like Nelson, you would have to think that they're going to air this ball out or try to move this ball. He's in the gun, in the pistol. The defensive line's got to pin their ears back and go.
2 receivers right, 1 left for Minnetonka. Fake to Hopkins. Severson, he's going to go down across the middle and just off the hands of Class. That's a ball he probably should have caught. Coverage back there by Gallus for the Wildcats.
There have been some overthrows tonight. That was not one of them. Nope. That was definitely not an overthrow. That was a beautiful ball that really should have been completed.
You saw 11 and 28 ever so briefly there on your screen a moment ago. That's Owens and Class. Probably the 2 top receivers for Minnetonka. But right now it's the Wildcats are going to be able to return a punt, it looks like, as Hofstad drops deep. He's standing back at about his own 20-yard line. Minnetonka, I'm not sure if they're short of guys. We look at that last play. In the Class right off his hands. He's got to catch that. I don't know if he saw 0-2 coming over out the corner of his eye. And we've got plenty of timeout now taken by the Minnetonka Skippers. A little confusion out there for the Skippers. Just got a text, by the way. They're watching us in Savage tonight. And for those of you in the greater Savage area, I saw your Prior Lake Lakers were up over Shakopee, 21-2 at the half. Yes, 21-2. Prior Lake, boy, you talk about a tough conference. You've got Rosemont, Prior Lake, Lakeville North. I mean, is that 1A and 1B in this conference? Yeah, that's a pretty good threesome right there. And guess what? The Cats get all 3 of them.
Well, they not only get all three of them, but in this situation, people, parents and keep people wondering, can I be seen by colleges and playing in this conference? It doesn't matter what team you play on, you're going to be seen by colleges.
Absolutely. Taco kick this one away. A low kick, line driver. That's going to be caught. Oh, it's fair caught actually at the 22. I didn't see the signal, but obviously apparently made it. So Hofstad, he had room to run that back a little ways, but obviously saw something that he didn't like. So the Cats from their own 25-yard line this time with 4:16 to go. Here in the third quarter, 28-0 Minnetonka. And for those of you that are really pessimistic, up by 35 in the fourth will get you running time. For those of you that are pessimistic, but we're taking the optimistic side here. Cats are going to get something together. Gugino and the offense coming out. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Again, we talked about it earlier. The game's pretty much not going to go your way. We know that. But just, get some positivity going into next week. Here's Gugino. He's going to drop. He's got time this time. Got to move to the other side. Throw, and ball is tipped, and out of bounds it goes.
Now, that time Gugino did have some time. He looked down the field, and unfortunately, he just didn't have a whole lot open down the field.
Right.
Rolling to the right, he kind of, his vision is somewhat focused on the right side of the field, and then he had two receivers in a pattern on the right side of the field. He just couldn't find the right guy that he wanted, the right lane to throw the ball through, or two, I should say. He did get an opportunity late in that to complete a pass, but it just didn't quite get there.
2nd and 10 upcoming for the Cats. Second time with the ball this quarter. First time was a 3-and-out. And they're going to have a long ways to go, so they don't have it again as they try to run the ball forward this time. Get a couple yards that time. Boy, good pursuit again by the Minnetonka Skippers. And they're trying to get something going in the pit down below us. Here on a beach out on week number 1. The Friday Night Lights, a special Thursday edition here in Wildcat Country. 3rd and 8 for the Cats after that 2-yard pickup. Do you go to the air here with Gugino?
Well, I think you give him an option. You probably get him moving on the edge, and you give him an option to try to get a short pass and have the receiver do something.
Gugino, deep drop. Look out, he slips, drops it off. He finds Carter Lyons, but he had slipped on the turf. So it's going to go for a completion, but for no gain.
Well, that was definitely a short completion. And unfortunately, that was just one of those situations where Gugino drops back. He's got pressure in his lap, and he finds something to, not take the sack. And to his credit, he's not throwing an interception. He's not, fumbling the ball. He's not do something risky. He's being smart with the football. And, with the score being what it is, you don't want to turn it into a farce. You don't want to just, completely screw it up. So. Excellent play.
Sackmaster, good high kick. Shetland, he's going to actually pick that up at the 46. I guess he called a fair catch. I didn't see the arm move, but okay. So Minnetonka is going to take over. Actually, they're going to spot the ball. They're going to move it up to midfield, apparently. Which I don't get, because he caught it at about the 46.
Yeah, he was on the run.
Yeah.
It used to be in football when you made a fair catch call, if you took 4 or 5 steps afterwards, that was a penalty.
Right.
That is no longer apparently the case, because the referees, I'm sure, would know that and would catch that. So, but you're right. It's a curious spot of the football. The fair catch signal was more of a get out of my way signal rather than a fair catch signal, but clearly he was thought to have made it.
So Minnetonka, their last drive started at their 49. Didn't do anything with that. Searson's going to try and air this one out. He's going for Owens. Owens got him, and he's got it. That's down to the 1. They're not going to say he got in. Owens thought he got in. They're going to spot it at about the 2.
Now I think they're setting up for the extra point, Mike. Yeah, I think the official closest to the play, I think, signaled for a touchdown.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at the other official who looked like he had his arm up like it was down at the 1. Well, bottom line is it's now 34-0 Minnetonka. Now let's take a look. There's the replay if we've got it going in, which we do. And again, just a nice touch on the ball though by Severson. You can see why schools are after him.
Well, for a player like this to drop back, to see his receiver, and to put it right where it has to be, the coverage wasn't terrible. The defensive back was right there with the receiver, but the ball was right where it needed to be, and it was right on touch, right on the money. And after a couple of overthrows, obviously, he comes back to the long pass, and he's able to complete one. That's great for him heading into next week's battle against Wayzata.
By the way, Chad Brown in to kick for Minnetonka that time. That's his first attempt of the night. Did split the upright, so it's 35-0 Skippers. And the Cats, well, I guess talking to Ben Hansen the other day, the one thing they did not want to see was having this kind of a game tonight, where you got nothing going. Granted, 2 of the scores are defensive, but still, it's your offense has really struggled to get anything going here since you had a couple of drives where you got something going, but it's something you're going to learn from. And you got to remember who you're playing tonight. It's going to be a little different next week at Lakeville South, who consensus and some of the, they're talking they're going to be kind of a bottom third team in the conference, from what you can believe from prognosticators. They also have Eastview and Eagan down there, but that's a game you've got to have some confidence in. And Ben was telling me the other day, there's 4 games they've pretty much had circled on the calendar as realistic shots, and Lakeville South is one of them. One with Shakopee, Farmington. And the other one I'm blanking on all of a sudden, but down they go. The Easter game. Good return here across 25-30. Head of steam. Nice return out near the 32-yard line. Hofstad on the return. I could have seen that Isaac Hofstad on those returns tonight.
Yeah, he's definitely given them something in the return game, and that time he showed a flash. And I think he was probably one block away from really turning that into something special.
Going to put the ball down at the 34-yard line with 2:22 to go.
Well, Eagan definitely, Mike, needs to do something to get a little bit of momentum for next week, and whether that's a big defensive play, that a turnover that creates a short field, or an opportunity here for the quarterback just to help move them, get 2 first downs.
Yep. I think we were talking before. It's kind of like baby steps here in week 1, and this will be Lions. Oh, boy, fighting off his block. What a huge play there by Minnetonka's Michael Walters up from his linebacker spot. Oh, that's going to be a loss of about 6 on that play. I got that far side. Ooh, he got around the left tackle there, far side for the Wildcats. Done a nice job of fighting him off. One kid we haven't mentioned, Will Herman out there, number 47. You kind of see him on the back of the huddle there. Going both ways for the Wildcats. He's a tight end and a defensive end. Probably might be the only kid that's doing that on a regular basis this year for the Wildcats. After years of where you've got 5, 6, 7 kids that were doing it, and that was more so out of necessity.
Well, I was just going to say that is definitely not something you'd prefer as a coach. Granted, you always have once in a while, you've got special players and special physical talents that can do that. But ideally, at this level of football in this conference, you want one-way players whenever possible. So it's an example of how the program has grown under Coach Hansen and how it continues to improve. Again, they're as you say, baby steps. I think you used the phrase earlier, and there are going to be baby steps, and that's one of them. Is making sure that we're deep enough and good enough that we don't have to use 2-way players.
And that's something really the last couple of years for Eagan has been a problem, is getting the number of kids out here. Well, now they're up to, I think it was like 115, approaching 120 as Gugino looks to throw, and that ball nearly picked off on a diving attempt out there by Minnetonka's number 18, who is Luke Tollefson. But I know Ben was saying, like I said, they're up around 115, 120. He thinks once school starts, word's going to get around. They're going to get a few more to come out. Even Minnetonka, I saw where their coach this quarter is saying they've got an additional 10 or 15 kids this year, which is almost, it's not the norm anymore. Kids are actually drifting away from football. But back to Eagan, Ben was also saying, years past, how many of these varsity players were sophomores? And just the physical mismatch that created, as we've got a very high punt, and Cats are down at the 47. That's a 13-yard punt, and Minnetonka is going to have great field position on the Eagan 47. But this year on Eagan, you've got really the main 60. There's 62 juniors and seniors, 35 and 27, I believe he said. There were 14 seniors on this squad last year that went 1-8. So and they're going to dress, like you said, about 25 sophomores for home games. You guys probably, unlikely to travel for the road games, but You know, hey, get some experience. You never know when you're going to need them. So it looks like Minnetonka is going to start clearing letting the A team sit down as Duke Kiffin in at quarterback, number 17. This will be number 24 is Eric Gesu. And what should be the final play of the third quarter, I would think. We're inside 30 seconds to go. And I can't imagine Minnetonka is going to be in any hurry to snap this football.
No, but obviously Minnetonka, the city of Minnetonka, painting their fire hydrants white and blue because I think one of them just got about 4 yards on the Cats. That young man is definitely built low and powerful.
Yeah, he's 5'11", 216 is number 24 there, Gesu for the Minnetonka Skippers. High snap, he's going to get it back though, and here he comes again. Then he gets down to about the 40, and now that will be the final play of this quarter as the horn did sound. So 5 yards on that one. It's going to set up a 3rd and 3 when we come back for fourth quarter action. But right now we're going to take a very quick break here on ETV, your home for Wildcat Sports.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And we're back inside Wildcat Stadium here on becoming a sultry Thursday night in Wildcat country. 12 minutes to go in this one, and it's 35-0 Minnetonka. And the Cats are going to look to just have some positivity here in this last quarter, I would think, as we've talked about here off and on. Minnetonka does have I believe their starters are now on I think almost all, if not all, are on the bench. And we're going to hand it off. 24 with the carry. That's going to down to the inside, the Wildcat 35. That's 3 straight runs for Eric Gayu. And I believe we're in running time. I'm not sure why the clock stopped. Unless there was, let me see, was there a flag out there? There we go. Yeah, because it's up by 35 here in the fourth. And chains have moved. First down for Tonka. I'd be very surprised to see Tonka put this football in the air the rest of the game. Good. Oh, great opportunity there, but that was 92. That was Downs, I believe, at the first opportunity for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it's definitely one he would like back, an opportunity to make a big TFL for loss and to be, like you said, Mike, get a little bit of positivity, a little bit of momentum. If you're Eagan, you definitely want to keep Minnetonka's number 2s here who are in the game. You definitely want to keep them out of the end zone. So let's, if you're Eagan, you want to step up and make a play to try to turn this tide a little bit.
2nd and 14 after the 4-yard loss. Give it to him once again. And just, basically barrels his way forward. And you got to remember, this is the backup.
Yes, yes, it is. That's what we're told. Certainly, and that's what's been indicated. But notice the Eagan. One of the things Eagan can take out of this is they're watching this film, and as they watch their play against this player, are they low enough? Are they low enough, and are they wrapping up enough? Because, as you say, 5'11", 216 or something like that. I mean, he's thick and he's low, and he's probably going to get the ball right here. And the question is, can Eagan wrap him up and drive their hips to knock this guy down?
It's going to be 3rd and 7 opportunity right here for Minnetonka. Yeah, guess who? Yeah, boy, it's going to set up a 4th and short. And you would imagine that the Minnetonka Skippers will go for this. Take a look at the replay once again. Boy, just barrels his way through. Being LeBaire able to finish him off there for the Wildcats.
Yeah, for anybody watching at home or anybody watching the live stream or anywhere on the World Wide Web, if you want to watch a running back lower his pad and get low for contact, that's how you do it.
4th and 4 for Minnetonka. Castle going to make a defensive stand here in the early stages of the fourth quarter. There he goes once again, and they are going to make that defensive stop. Good job by the Eagan D this time. That's something you're going to be able to build off of.
Well, it sure is. And they had excellent penetration that time. They did a good job of wrapping up and stopping the runner on first contact, and that's not something that we've always had an opportunity to do, or certainly an opportunity that we've taken tonight. So for Eagan, that is a positive that we get these guys off the field, we get our offense onto the field. There is some time still left on the clock, enough time for our quarterback and for our offensive line to come out and run, 10 more plays and get a couple of first downs and get some momentum for next week.
Oh, we just got an update from Rosemont. Irish up over Wayzata 12-7 in the fourth. Gugino still in at quarterback for the Eagan Wildcats. Let's take a look here. What are the Cats? I assume they're going to run the football, and they will. Straight ahead. That's Lyons who's still in there for the Wildcats. So the Cats still running the number one offense out there, trying to get something. I suppose you got to get some positivity with that group as a unit.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, Mike. I think that's the smart call. I mean, it's yes, you do risk injury to your top players and things like that, but at the same time, and you do have a bunch of kids on the field on the bench who want to get in the game, no question. But I think this is the right call at this point of the year to get these guys out there, give Gugino 10 more snaps, 5 more snaps.
And speaking of the guys getting into the game, here's Cole Gibson, number 1, his first carry of the game. Cole Gibson was expected to be one of the top 4 backs this year for the Eagan Wildcats. First carry of the game, and he's going to get out to the 35. He'll pick up 1 that time, so 1 for 1. Gibson, another one of the Wildcat hockey players. I know his dad Ken kind of has helped out in the past with some ETV productions. I always appreciate that. Be sure to mention some of our ETV crew here when we get an opportunity before this one's over. Cats on a 3rd and 4, maybe 5 this time. See if Gugino goes back to pass on this one. No, they're going to hand off, come near side, and out near the 40-yard line. I believe that's going to be a first down for the Wildcats. Depends on the spot. And it's the number 6, McGinley, the ball carrier, Marcus McGinley. And the sticks do move. They needed 6 and got 6 by 6.
An excellent job that time of picking your spot. If you're the running back, you start inside, you see an opportunity the outside. It's the path of least resistance, and he takes the opportunity and makes something out of it. I really would like to see this offensive line, though, really lean on these guys. I don't know if you've noticed, Mike, or not, but Minnetonka does have a fair number of replacements in there on the defensive side of the ball.
Yes, they do.
So these are guys that are a little smaller, maybe not quite as experienced. I'd love to see our guys lean on them and get a little bit of momentum for next week.
Cat's going to run it right side that time. Big hole out across the 50 into Minnetonka territory. Nice run there by McGinley, and first man over to congratulate him is Gibson.
And that's that lean, Mike, that I was just talking about. If you watch from center over to right tackle, there was a definite push. Watch the right side of your screen here. There's a definite push. There's a little bit of pressure from the left, but right there, you saw there was a nice line of scrimmage established by that offensive line. They're able to give the running back some momentum heading into that second level, and then of course he breaks a tackle and goes for another 8 yards.
Yeah, Cody Smith, he's always a good one to run through, but I also thought Tyler Haas did a nice job there. He kicked the guys to the inside, enabling McGinley to cut to the outside, get some room there and set it up where Smith can create a hole for him. Cats keeping it on the ground, and fumble. Here comes Tonka. Turnover. Minnetonka's going to have the ball on the Eagan side of midfield.
And Mike, that was an awkward exchange. I'm not sure quite what happened there, but it sure looked like there was an awkward exchange but at the handoff, or it almost looked like a handoff / pitch. We'll see it here coming up on replay.
Yeah, it's kind of after the fact. But
it is. But nonetheless, it looked like an awkward exchange, and that's, again, part of that's inexperience, I think. Part of it's also a timing.
Yep.
It's the first game of the year. It is some inexperience, and I think, as things progress, our hope would be collectively as Eagan fans that those timing issues get worked out.
So Minnetonka with 6:42 to go. They're up by a 35-0 count. And they've got another new quarterback in this time, and they actually threw it on the far side, and it's going to be close to a first down. Sam and Shari in at quarterback. Jack Fulkerson caught that football. Not sure why you're throwing it at this point, but okay. And did he stay in bounds at least? Apparently the clock continues to roll, so we're going to say yes. 16-14 for 9. As we approach the halfway point of quarter number 4. It's a 21-0 game at the half. Tonka came out, got a couple there. Severson with a 6-yard run untouched back in the third. And then Severson to Owens for 50 to make it 35-0, which is where we are right now. Cats with a nice defensive stand last time down the field. Forced the turnover on downs. And it looks like they could have another opportunity here. It's going to be 3rd and 2 upcoming for Minnetonka. After that one. Should mention some of our crew helping out tonight, by the way. The shot right there done by Mr. Jeff LaPointe. Happy to have Jeff back with us for season number 7 of Wildcat football. Got him up on the roof this year. Here's Gage, that's going to be a first down for Minnetonka. He's going to pick up about 3 on that one. He needed 2. So that'll be a first down for Minnetonka. Tim Sky, he's supposed to be here helping us out tonight. Helping on a camera. Kevin Sorensen is supervising this crew here this evening. And we've also got our friends from ETV, Josh Sibley, Patty DeGidio, Michelle Blasco, Dalton Graber, Greg Borman, Ravi Butler, all here helping us out tonight from the ETV. Out here with the truck. As we said, we're going to be doing a lot of games this year, including next Friday night at Lakeville South. 7 o'clock start for that one. Go see Tyler Krebs and the Cougars on that brand new turf field down there at Lakeville South. Saw some pictures. Look kind of cool. Their end zones are maroon. And, yeah. Actually, you know what? Coach Hansen was telling me the other day. I asked him, I said, hey, when are you going to get turf here? It's a dream for everybody, it seems like, at this point, because just about everybody else in 6A has it. He said there's 5 schools in 6A that do not have turf. It's us, Eastview, Rosemount, and then Blaine, and the other one up there, the other one in the Blaine district. I've suddenly drawn a blank on, but Anoka. So, Anoka's got that neat setting up there, the kind of the bowl, kind of like South St. Paul has, not too far from here. But yeah, so there's 5 teams that don't have turf in the big class.
Well, speaking as a player when I played on grass personally. I'll say I love grass no matter what its condition is. But let's face it, with all the sports that are played on these fields, by the end of the season it can be a little bit rough, especially if you've got bad weather. So I can understand why that's attractive.
I think we've seen years where soccer will play in the rain. I mean, they'll play in heavy rain, and where those kids are stopping and starting in the cleats, and then you get football out here in the trenches, and these things can definitely get ripped up pretty good. So we're down to inside 3.5 to go, and it's going to be 4th down for Minnetonka. Already looks like they're going to go back over to the, I think that's the 952 area code, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
in Minnetonka. Right. 763 is a little more north of there, right?
I think that's right.
So over back to the 952. Looks like with a shutout victory tonight. I think it's just a matter of, is 35 going to be their final total? He's got the block. He's still, as I say that, can he go to the, he does. 27-yard touchdown for number 24, Eric Gesu.
Well, so many of the Eagan Wildcats were close to the line of scrimmage trying to stop that 4th and short, and once he was able to shake that first tackle, he had an opportunity to extend, and showing some quickness and some speed that maybe wouldn't be indicative of somebody watching him from a distance. Very impressive by the young man to keep going. And so an opportunity here for Minnetonka to really put a seal on the game, certainly, and wrap it up. At the same time, unfortunate for Eagan that their defense wasn't able to make that stop, because I'm sure that they really, really wanted to keep this game to 35.
I believe this will be Brown in for the extra point for Minnetonka. Let's see what this is going to be all about. Yeah, Cats got good pressure. But
well, they got good pressure, and I think somebody made contact with the holder.
I think so too.
But I think that might be a borderline call. I don't know if I've seen. It was an arm around the back of the holder, and it wasn't a tackle, or it wasn't a shoulder pad. And I guess you rough the holder too.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably what they're going to call here.
Okay, personal foul, roughing the kicker here. It's accepted. Kickoff.
So it's going to be on the kickoff. So it's going to make it a 41-0 game. Or no? Was the kick good?
The kick was good.
The kick was good. Pardon me.
Yep.
I was looking at the flag the whole time.
Yeah, the kick was good. The 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
There you go. So, last year it was 42-7 in the opener, Minnetonka over Eagan. And again, watching that one too, I think the Cats actually have played better this game. I got to admit. I mean, I think you're still seeing the real compete in the fourth quarter.
That's right.
It's and part of that because we talked about a little bit ago, the numbers situation. Last year you had to have young guys out there and guys out there a lot. Tonight you've got a few more different guys out there given opportunity.
Mike, I think that's right, and I think I was able to be at the Minnetonka game last year. We didn't have other coaching or refereeing commitments, and I saw that game, and I remember thinking to myself that Tonka team looked definitely like they deserved to be in the state title game, and they were. So you got tonight though. I think Eagan has competed better with them than they competed last year. I agree completely.
But if you're Minnetonka, do you just pooch this one, or do you just give it your leg?
No. You're going to pooch this and see if you can find a corner.
Or Eagan's going to start at the 20. That was just kind of a tweener there almost. So 2:54 to go, and it's going to be the Cats looking to see if they can get something going here right at the end. By the way, update from Rosemont, 12-7 Irish, end of third, but the Irish are driving, it says. And Minnetonka is going to be home to Wayzata next week in their home opener. So we've said multiple times, the Cats will be at Lakeville South. Go see Tyler Krebs and the Cougars. Boy, those two teams played here last year. Boy, if I remember right, that was a pretty good back-and-forth affair. But Lakeville South was able to squeak one out. Straight ahead, and then, boy, a number of Minnetonka players in there again. And see the ball carrier is there for the Wildcats. Looks like number 25, Michael Murphy, his first carry of the game for the Wildcats. You see on the top of your screen there a few of the Tonka fans heading out. And their credit, like I said, Tonka had a pretty good fan group here tonight for a Thursday before Labor Day.
They did.
A lot of them are still over there. You see their student section off to the left.
Yeah, they did. And there's, you travel well when you're successful in the field. No question about that. And I think we've got a new quarterback out there too, Mike.
Let's take a look here. Oh, and the ball pops up on the fumble. Who's got it? Tonka does have it. We had an Eagan fumble. That was. I'm trying to figure out who that was for Eagan with the ball. Not sure, but looks like this one's going to end on a 42-0 count. I would imagine if you're Minnetonka, you're just taking a couple of knees here, and you're not going to run this one up. So the Cats are going to have something to, lots of things to work on, shall we say.
Yeah, film study tomorrow, Mike, I think is going to be, tomorrow or Sunday is going to be very interesting, and no question they're going to have to tighten up some things defensively. There's a combination of things here that have plagued the Cats tonight.
Straight ahead, Tonka. Well, we mentioned Eagan's at Lakeville South next week. I'm just checking the Twitter feed. 32 seconds to go. Edina takes a 13-8 lead at Lakeville South. So you could have a very upset group of Cougars. And yeah, he just looks like a short run from about the 1 or the 2. Oh, actually, update from Rosemont. It's now 15-12 Wayzata. Okay. The buck 22 to go in this one. Tonka's just going to run the ball again. Good play there by the Eagan D. Number 41, I believe, first man in, Jaden Williams for the Wildcats. Looks like big number 78 was in there as well, Isaiah Snell. Some guys in there that we haven't really called a whole lot tonight.
And the Eagan Wildcats are going to look at the film and they're going to realize that they need to be better physically. They need to wrap up their tackles. They need to be more stout, not be pushed off that ball. They're also going to see that they made some mental mistakes. They always weren't in the right position, and they sometimes lost their opportunities to make plays. So they'll figure it out. They just have to, but they're going to have to watch very closely and be well coached.
Yep. So we should probably have one more play after this. You know, I was thinking the one thing I've noticed when we had that last flag is we have not seen many flags. On either team, and really for a week one, that's pretty impressive.
No, I think we had one false start penalty against Eagan, and of course the delay of game penalty.
Right before that, unfortunately.
Before that, right. But in terms of penalties, you would characterize as new, lack of reps kind of penalties. You're right. There haven't been too many.
Yep. And that's down to the 15 on what should be the final play of this football game. And I also have to get the ball reset, and it's going to be a 42-0 final in favor of the Minnetonka Skippers. And I'm not sure what the delay is here. I'll turn the ball over on downs, okay? Yep. Oh, so you got one more play for the Wildcats. Update from Shakopee, by the way, 41-2. Prior Lake leads the Sabres midway through the fourth. Boy, is that going to be fun to see Prior Lake against Lakeville North and Rosemont. And, I thought I read somewhere that Rosemont actually does not play North or Prior Lake this year. It's just the way the whole thing shakes out.
Well, so you could have teams that lose one game but end up third or fourth in the conference.
Right.
Which is unfortunate.
The whole scheduling thing. I understand you're helping each other out, but the fact that Eagan doesn't play Burnsville this year, they hadn't played Eastwood the last couple of years. It's just those are teams that you should play regardless. You have those rivalry games, and one last play here for the Wildcats. There's the horn. We can hear it this time. So it's a tough one to start the year for the home team, as they are going to fall to the either number 1 or number 2 Minnetonka Skippers, depending on what poll you want to look at. But it's the Minnetonka Skippers 42, the Eagan Wildcats nothing. We talked about it, Nathan, all game. It's, you had glimpses. There's definitely things you can build on. It's not a total washout.
No, that's absolutely right. There are opportunities for Eagan to get better. They will get better. You have to remember, I think everyone needs to remember that these guys are playing, Tonka is, as you say, a top 5 team in this state. No question about that. And, the level of competition is going to expose you when you make mistakes. And we made some mistakes tonight. But many of those mistakes are correctable mistakes. And if they are correctable mistakes, then this coaching staff will get these guys dialed in. And they're going to have more success on the field as the season wears on.
Absolutely. So that's going to wrap things up here in Wildcat Country, where once again, there is your final score. It's Minnetonka 42, Eagan nothing. So on behalf of the entire ETV crew, he's Nathan Cron. My name is Mike Cook. We say thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week, Friday the 7th, from Lakeville South, here on ETV, your home for Wildcat Sports.